Hey everybody, so today I'm going to show you how you can make solid bubble bath. Bars, I'm going to show you how to make this roll. This is my first one, so you can see the stripes are not really that great, but I'm going to walk you through it, what you need, what ingredients you need, how to do it. You can also, because you're going to be making almost like a dough out of this before you roll it and let it dry so that you can use it a couple days later. You can also sculpt it. So you could sculpt it. If you're good at sculpting, you could, put it into like a little bowl, make a little face. If you're doing it for a kid, you could make like a little clown or whatever. You could leave the mixture white instead of adding coloring to it like I'm going to do. And you could make little snowmen to give out around the holidays. If you have a bridal shower or something like that, you could maybe cut them into little baby bottles, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to tell you the ingredients that you're going to need, and there's a lot of these videos online on how to make these. I tried a couple of the recipes, and over the last few months I've been tweaking them to see what works for me. You could go online, you can buy recipes, you can look at other videos to see if their recipe might be better for you. This is what worked for me, so that's what I'm going to show you today. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need cream of tartar. You can get this. All the stuff I'm going to tell you that you need right now, you can get on Amazon. So cream of tartar. You're going to need SLSA, which is sodium lauryl sulfolate. But anyhow, that's what's going to make it set up in the bathtub to make those nice bubbles. You're going to need cornstarch, which you can get anywhere. You're going to need baking soda, which if you make bath bombs or any kind of other, craft stuff, you probably already have this if you have a pool or whatever, or if you just use it for baking. You're going to need tapioca flour, which I got on Amazon. It's relatively cheap. And you're going to need Epsom salt. So those are the dry ingredients. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that some of these ingredients, when you have to mix them together, they will fly up into the air. So if you have sensitive lungs, if you have health issues, you might want to wear a mask or have somebody else do the mixing for you just to get it into the dough shape so you can do the rest from there. So remember, if you have breathing problems, if you are extremely sensitive, if you have an extremely sensitive nose, throat, lungs, whatever, wear a mask, put something over your face, even if it's just like this, just to block it from getting, into your lungs. If you're sensitive, I'm not, so I don't care. Then you're also, those are the dry ingredients. So now for the wet ingredients, you're gonna need some kind of smell. You don't have to put a smell in it, but I feel like you really kind of should. So an essential oil for that. You're gonna need castor oil, which again, I got this stuff on eBay, except for the smell stuff here I got from Brambleberry, but you can get it from really any place that sells crafting supplies should have soap supplies, soap scents, things like that. Then I have this, which is Eco Glitter. Don't get regular glitter because it goes down into your drain and could cause problems. And then obviously it goes out into the ecosystem and things eat it and die. And then we eat them and fish and all this other stuff. So if you're going to use glitter, it just kind of gives it a little extra boom. But if you're going to use glitter, get Eco Glitter. It's not that expensive, and it's a lot better than regular glitter. And you're going to also need glycerin, liquid glycerin. And you will need some kind of coloring, unless you're leaving it white. That's up to you. So I'm going to get started by putting all of the dry ingredients into here and mixing them. And you're also going to need gloves because you're going to mix the color in later when it becomes dough-like. So you want to make sure that you have some vinyl gloves or any kind of gloves that you could keep your hands from getting dyed with. And you're going to need a bowl to mix it in, to mix the whole batch in. And then I have these two little bowls that I can separate it into and to do two different colors because I'm going to have two different balls of dough. I'm going to roll them out. I'm going to lay them on top of each other and I'm going to roll them into a log and cut them into individual little bars. So something that you can mix the main batch in, and then something that you can split it into if you don't want to just do it white, if you need more than one color. So now we're going to get started. So I'm going to zip you guys down over here. And I'm going to show you as I go along what I'm doing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add my cream of tartar. So you're going to put a cup. No, actually for the cream of tartar, you're going to put half a cup. So you're going to get half a cup of cream of tartar in there. Now some people sift it. I don't really care because I'm going to whisk it anyhow. So half a cup of cream of tartar. A quarter cup of cornstarch. Alexa, dining room light on. This should help you out a little bit. Quarter cup of cornstarch. Then you're going to put 1 whole cup of baking soda. Cup of baking soda. You're going to also toss in there 1 cup of the SLSA. Don't get SLS if you're ordering this online. Get SLSA, sodium lauryl sulfoxylate. This stuff. Sodium lauryl blah blah blah. Get that. We're going to put a cup of that in there. And then you're going to put 1/3 of a cup of Epsom salt. This is also good if you're taking a bath to have Epsom salt in it because, you know, according to some people, I'm not a doctor so I don't know for sure, but according to some people that is good for your health. I don't know. Look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then you're also going to put 1/3 of a cup of the tapioca powder in there. And that's going to sort of make it everything kind of stick together, that and the cornstarch. So now that all of your dry ingredients are in there, you're going to mix it together. Now remember, with all of this stuff that's very powdery, you want to mix it, I mix it slow in the beginning to make sure that everything is kind of incorporated. Because like I said before, that SLSA and the cornstarch can get up into your face, get in your eyes, get in your lungs. So just make sure that if you're sensitive, that while you're mixing this, you have a mask on, or have somebody else mix it for you that may not be as sensitive. And you take over when it's time to just knead the dough. However you want to do it, whatever works for you, just be careful with it. You don't want to trigger an asthma attack with somebody, so just make sure that if you're sensitive that you're protecting yourself. Okay, so now the dry ingredients are all together. Now let's get the wet ingredients in here. So the first thing you're going to do is put your smell in. Well, it doesn't have to be the first thing, but that's what I'm doing. So, and you're going to put a teaspoon of the smell that you want to use in here. So I'm throwing that in there. Now you're going to use your castor oil, and you're going to put 1/8 of a cup of castor oil in there. But you can use, the last time I did it, I used hemp oil. So you can use whatever kind of, oil that you use. Anything that you would use maybe in a bath bomb recipe is also good for this. And now I have castor oil all over the place. That's just great. Okay, so after you have your castor oil in there, you're going to put half of a cup of liquid glycerin. And this, I already used half of this, so I know this is half a cup right here. So I'm just going to put this in here. Half a cup of liquid glycerin, which again, if you make a lot of soaps or if you make, a lot of craft supplies, you probably already have this. If you don't already have it, you can order it on Amazon. You can get it from craft stores, whichever ones are still open in your area. And that's it. So we're going to put that in there. And the next thing that we're going to do is just mix this together. Well, actually, you don't even need to mix it together because it's... Well, yeah, you know what? I'm going to mix it together. I'm going to grab a fork or something like that, and I'm going to mix it up. Hold up. I'll be right there. So I'm just gonna grab this fork and I'm gonna mix these things together. So that's the castor oil. It's your essential oil, which is the smell that you're gonna use. It is the liquid glycerin. And what I'm also gonna throw in here right now is 1 tablespoon of this Eco Glitter. So we'll dump that in there. We want it to be like real kind of sparkly and such. So let's get that in there. Mix it in with our wet ingredients. Oh, you're also gonna need, if you want to roll this out and do the log like I'm gonna do, you're also gonna need parchment paper. And you're gonna want to make sure that you cover that parchment paper with a lot of cornstarch so that nothing sticks, because this will stick a lot. So basically, you're mixing this together, and you'll see it's almost like a gel, like a gloop, like a slime. Mix it together really good. You'll see that I don't know if you could see from here. I gotta do phone, so hopefully the camera's a little bit better than it was. But you could see the sparkles in there and all that other stuff, so it looks pretty cool. So mix it up really good though, because you want it to be mixed here, because when you mix it in with the flour and all, not the flour, but I keep saying flour because you're making a dough out of it, but when you mix it into your dry ingredients, you really want it to almost be already a slime consistency, like if you were going to make your own slime. You want it to be around that, a little bit runnier than that, but still same idea. Okay, so now once you have that mixed up pretty good, and I think this is actually mixed as well as it's going to be, you can see it's not watery, it's not like water. You can see the consistency of it right there. So once you have that all mixed, you're going to take your dry ingredients. You're gonna just, oh, this smells so good too. And the smell that I'm using is called, what am I using? Ocean Breeze or something like that. It smells really good. I should have got a spoon instead of a fork so I could scrape everything out, but you get the idea. So just make sure you get it all out, because you don't want to waste the oils and stuff, which are going to kind of stick to the container that you're mixing your wet ingredients in, because it will not come out correct if you don't get it all in there. So make sure that you're measuring it well and blah blah blah. Okay, so now that I have almost all of this out of here, I should be using a spoon, but I don't want to leave you guys again to go get one, so I'm just going to do my best right now. Okay, so once we have that in there, then you're going to take a whisk or whatever you want and just incorporate the wet into the dry. Mix it up, mix it up. In the beginning, I like to mix it like this, but you'll see in a couple of, less than a minute, it's going to be to the consistency where you're going to need to do it with your hands. So, oh, damn. Okay, so the SLSA got up into my nose, so that's what that was all about. Okay, so now that it is, oh, see what I'm talking about? You got to get a mask if you're sensitive to this stuff, because it will get you sneezing. So now, you don't need your gloves for this part of it. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to use gloves, because no, you know what? I am going to use gloves, because I don't want to stick it to my hands, because then I'm going to have to go wash my hands and stuff. So, let's get this all mixed up. You're just going to mix it as if you were mixing a dough. So I want to know, do you all make bath bombs? Do you make your own soap? Do you have an Etsy? Tell me what's going on with all that stuff in the comments below. So now you'll see, you're going to take, basically you're just going to take your hands and mix it all together until it's almost like a little pizza dough. Yeah. Oh damn. Oh, I dropped you. Okay, so just mix it up. Mix it, mix it, mix it. I don't think I can have you guys down that far. Okay, so we're mixing, mixing, we're mixing. Okay. This is the part that takes sort of the longest. So while I'm mixing it, I'm just gonna pause you guys and then I'll come back when I'm done mixing. Okay, everybody, so now my mixing is done and you'll see it's like a dough. It's like a dough at this point. So now if you were gonna do something creative with it, like mold it into something, this would be the time then when you would do it. You know, you could make, like right now, I'm just gonna make a little tiny pyramid here. And then you would set it aside to dry. These do take about 3 days to dry before you can use them. But I don't know if you guys could see, but the Eco Glitter really makes them look kind of cool. And what I decided is, I think what I might do is just take half of it and color it and leave the other half white. Just for like a contrast. Also, you can see down here, I took my parchment paper and I covered it with cornstarch so that, because you're going to roll this out like a dough. So I covered it with cornstarch so it doesn't stick. Because if it sticks later on, it's going to be such a pain to do what we need to do. Okay. So now you'll see it's like a little dough ball. You can see the consistency of it. You know, this would be the point now where you could mold it and you could do like fancy things with it. You know, maybe make like a little face out of it, a little nose. You know, a little nose, a little mouth. You could make a little guy out of it, whatever you wanted to do. I'm not doing that. So I'm going to take half of it and I'm going to stick it in this bowl. Sort of squish it down a little bit like that. So it's got like a little divot in the middle. Now I'm going to take, I think I'll do this blue. So you're just going to put a couple drops of blue on there. Liquid coloring. I'm going to use 8 drops of it right now just to get it started out. And then I'm going to show you the mixing process. If I could get my camera from stopping rolling over. Okay, so I just like to sort of get it in there. And this is why you need the gloves, because this food dye will obviously dye your hands. You can also use, if you have soap dye, you could use, I guess you could use mica if you wanted to add that in to your dry ingredients before you mix the wet ingredients in. You could do that as well. So I should have probably got a bigger bowl, but you can see it's starting to mix up pretty good. So mix that color in. And like I said, if you want to do that swirl effect of 2 colors, that's fine. Right now, what I think I'm going to do is just make this one blue and leave the other one white. So it'll be like a blue and white swirl instead of a blue and red or a blue and purple or a blue and whatever. It'll just be blue and white, which is okay. Whatever color you want or need. If you want to make these to sell, maybe you're going to make them for a baby shower or something, so you would only make them blue, or you would make them pink, or you would make them blue and white, or pink and white, or whatever you want to do. If you're making them for holidays or birthday gifts, you're gonna pick which colors work for you. You can use any color as long as it's liquid food coloring. So that works. And look, my glove broke, so that wasn't even that great. But once you have that all done, so now the color, and you'll see the color incorporates pretty well. So just mix it until you see an even consistency with that coloring. I'm gonna smush it all together. Now my finger is gonna be blue. What I go through for you guys and gals. Okay, so now we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that all ready. I don't need that anymore. Let's move this out of here. Move all this stuff down. That's the end result, the bath bar. But let's, I'm gonna move you over here for a second so I could slide this down. Okay, so just sort of in your hands, flatten it, you know, as much as you can. You're not gonna be able to flatten it. Not going to be able to flatten it that much, but just flatten it out as much as you can. Then lay it down. Let's get some cornstarch up on top of it because we're going to lay something over the top of it. So let's get some cornstarch on it. Be very liberal with the cornstarch because you do not want this to be sticking to anything. It's going to make it a nightmare to get it all done. So now I'm just going to take a rolling pin and I'm just going to roll it out. So yeah, this can get messy, by the way, so you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. I'm always prepared to get messy. Okay, here we go. You want to roll it till it's, don't make it too thin because then it's going to really stick later on and it's going to be hard to get off the paper. But make it thin enough that you'll be able to get the other one on top of it to roll it out, okay? Okay, now I'm just going to pause it. Okay, so through the magic of television, I have rolled out the blue one. And now I'm going to take the white one and I'm going to roll that one out over here. So let me just get it into a little ball. And this one I'm leaving white, like I said a little bit ago. Probably shorter for you than it was for me. We're just going to lay them down there on the cornstarch. And we're just going to roll them out. So let's get them flattened out. Just get them flattened out so he's about the same size as the blue one. That looks about even. And this one doesn't have to be exactly the same size because it's going to be the inside swirl. So just do it however much you want to do it. And then we're going to take this guy. This is the tricky part now. We're going to take him and we're going to flip him over. So get your arm underneath him. You're going to take them and you're going to flip them on top of the blue one. Now you're going to take your rolling pin again, now that they're both underneath this. And you're just going to roll them together. That's it. Just roll them together so that they are now basically one dough. Okay. Make sure everything is rolled together pretty goodly. Okay, so now when I take this top piece off here, you'll see that they're sandwiched together. That's what we want. And in any of these little scraps, you can just push them on. I'm not gonna, because sometimes it messes up your swirl in the middle. But like I said, you can do with this dough, you know, you can squish it together, you can make a little ball, you could do whatever. So now this is the tricky part. What you're gonna do is, you're gonna roll this. You're gonna roll it over and squeeze it down. You're gonna roll it some more. And you're going to squeeze it down, turning it into like a tube as you go. You can see it there. Squeeze it together. That's cool. You're going to take it and you're going to flip it over, tighten it down, make it into that nice roll shape. You're going to flip it over. Flip it over, tighten it up, mix it together with your hands. Make sure it stays in that log formation. See it? Now you're going to take it and you're going to flip it over again. and squeeze it down. Should be coming off the paper pretty good at this point. Squeeze it, make sure that it stays into that very uniform shape. Okay, roll it over again. And squeeze it into that nice roll. Squeeze it down. Squeeze it into that log shape. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. And then pull the paper back. And just do a final roll so everything is sort of off the paper in the right shape and ready to go. Okay. Squeeze it together. Okay. So, and that's it. Now you're done. Now what you're going to do, oh, hold on one second. You're going to grab a, knife and you're going to cut it into your rolls. So you can see the end here has all this cornstarch on it and stuff. I'm just going to chop that fella off. So just cut it, put it aside. Cut it, put it aside, do the same thing over and over and over until your whole bar is ready. Put them over there. You can make them skinny or fat depending on, you know, whatever you want to do. You can do what you want. You can see that swirl effect there in the middle. It's pretty cool. You can also sort of go over it with your finger like this to sort of smooth it out a little bit at this point. Or you can leave it. A lot of people leave it because they like that look to it. So, just going to take it. You're going to cut it. Just do that all the way down to the end of the roll. And like I said, the end here, all of this little squishy end, you can just sort of, if you're just using it for yourself, do whatever you want with it. But if you're going to sell it to somebody, obviously you're not going to sell them this. So that just sort of, you could still dry it, use it for yourself as you go along. You know, maybe smush all of this together and make like your own little thing out of it. But yeah, so then you have all of these little rolls. And it's going to take about 3 days to 4. Well, it depends on where you live. Like right now it's raining, so they're very, very wet. And that's fine, because they're going to stay like that. Oh, it almost looks like a little face inside there, doesn't it? So you're going to let them dry out for a couple of days. And you are going to, once they dry, when it's all done, you know what? I'm going to pause it. I'm going to put some water in here, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when with the old ones that are already dry. So hold on a second. Okay, so before I show you what they look like when they're done, I'm going to show you real quick. What I do is I just take a paper plate, I dump a little bit of cornstarch on it, smooth it over, and then you're just going to take your little pieces so that they don't get stuck to things, stick them on those plates, and then put them somewhere to dry. Like I said, it can take, depending on where you live and depending on the weather. Obviously, if it's raining for an entire week, these are going to absorb that out of the air. But you're going to just set them aside and let them dry for a few days. And I'm going to clean this up and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what the ones that I already did look like. So hold on. Be right back. Okay, so I'm going to take one of the ones that I already made. They're probably not ready yet, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to crumble one into the water here. And then you can see, normally you will crumble this under running water, but I'm going to agitate it with this. And you can see like right away all of those suds, and the one that I used was blue and pink. So it's going to turn that water almost like a little bit of a bluish, purplish kind of color. If you don't want the water to turn color, you can use less color when you make it. But look at that. Ooh. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bath time. Bath time is fun. Okay, so anyhow. But yeah, you know, you would crumble it up under the running bath water and you would get this. So that's pretty cool. Lots of suds, and it's pretty cool, and it's very... And look at me. Just look at me. But that's what you gotta get used to if you want to do crafting and such. Okay, so that's it. I hope you liked my video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you thought it was cool, please share it with your friends or any kind of crafty people that you think might like it. And till next time, I'll see you soon. Be good out there. Thumbs up. Bye.